Social media is a trap. Let's have a serious conversation about just how dangerous social media addiction is to our lives and to our ability to achieve our goals. A lot of people don't realize this, but the top companies in the world, like Meta and Google, they actually work with the top psychologists in the world to find out ways to keep us on their platforms for longer. They are only interested in one thing, and that's us doing this. That's because our attention has become their currency. Attention is the new currency. It's the new oil. You hear plenty of gurus talking about how attention's the new oil. The more attention you hold, the more money you can make. And that's totally true. And these companies have the deepest pockets. They've got billions of dollars in cash in the bank. They can pay anything to figure out how to get us to look at our devices for longer. Meanwhile, you and I are just one person chilling at home with our families, and we don't have that kind of power. So it's literally the richest people in the world working with the top psychologists to try and addict us versus you and me. We really don't stand a chance. That's why we're losing this battle. That's why you see everybody staring at their phone. When you wake up every day, you've got a certain amount of attention, a certain amount of presence. Let's look at that as your currency that you get to spend how you please. And the way that you spend it throughout the day really determines the quality of your life, doesn't it? Because if you apply it towards reading a book, you're going to learn some cool shit that's going to help you grow your business. Or if you apply it towards being really present with one of your friends or your spouse or your kids or whatever, you're going to grow your relationships. Or if you apply it to focusing on the present moment, maybe you meditate, you're going to have more inner peace. You're going to be happier. You get to spend your attention every day like it's a currency. However, these companies are taking your currency away from you. They're taking your attention away. They're essentially robbing you of your attention and using it to make money because they're charging people to advertise on their platforms. And since your eyeballs are on there, they can charge the advertisers more money. That's how this game works. That's why they're paying those psychologists to try to keep you on your phone for longer. Anyone who is really successful has realized what is going on. They've realized that this is a trap. This is something that is really bad. And if you want an abundant life, if you want to be healthy and happy and successful, if you want to have great relationships, if you want to be a present person who really lives life to where when you get to the end of your life and you're on your deathbed one day, you're like, hell yeah, I lived the shit out of my life. I squeezed the sponge dry. I wrung every last drop out. There is no way that you or I are going to be able to feel that way and be satisfied if we spend our lives, if we spend our attention on social media. It's honestly one of my greatest fears that I would get to the end of my life and I would be laying on my deathbed and I would be like, damn it, I didn't really get out and travel or make the relationships I wanted to make or make the impact that I wanted to make because I was staring at my phone for most of my life. What I do that helps is I just keep social media apps off of my phone. And you can see my home screen right here, and I don't have very many apps, and none of them are social media. I do have the YouTube app on my phone. That's the only app that I consume content on. And I'll be honest, I have an addiction to that. And I watch trashy stuff on there, like body cam videos of people getting arrested and stuff. I'm not perfect, but I know that if I do download, let's say Instagram on here, I'm done. I'm going to check it like 27 times a day. That app, for whatever reason, is like OxyContin for me, and I can't stop checking it. Guess what? It's probably because they paid the world's top psychologists to figure out how to addict me to it. Everyone has an app like that, I think, that's like their Oxycontin, like the one that they just can't stop checking. Whatever it is for you, I really recommend thinking about just giving that up. It's just going to fuck your life up. It's going to get in the way of pretty much everything you want and provides you absolutely nothing in return. Just like any addiction, it sucks for the first week. If you cut out caffeine or alcohol or whatever, then you usually feel a lot better and you're glad you did it. So I recommend you give it a try. I don't believe that you can overcome things that are addicting just via like, oh, I'm going to try hard and I'm going to use willpower. You got to have a deep internal shift where you're like, holy shit, if I keep doing this, I'm going to be on my deathbed one day and I'm going to regret the way I lived my life. I cannot let that happen. These social media apps are not even close to being worth the valuable currency that I have, which is my attention. And then if you make that deep internal shift where you're just drawing the line in the sand and you're like, no more, you'll probably be able to cut these apps out and not really think twice about them anymore. So I just wanted to make this video because this is a big bad game that is being played, and I do not want you to fall into this trap. I want you to be one of the ones that is very successful and that can rise above all of this nonsense and make the impact you want to make on the world. Now, some of you are probably saying, well, Brian, you post content on social media, so aren't you adding to the problem? And I guess you could make that argument that I am. But what I would say is I really believe in the products and services that I sell that help people achieve their life's mission and really get their life's work, out there. And I also believe in the content that I'm putting on these platforms and that it's going to help somebody become someone who doesn't need to be on these platforms as much. And so social media is literally where everybody is. It makes sense to build your brand on social media, to market your business on social media. But for you, I recommend that you become much more of a producer of content than a consumer of content, and that the content you make inspires people to become someone who is not a scroller. So you are ultimately doing more good than harm. That's my take on all of this. I hope that helps someone out there. Appreciate you all being here. I'm really grateful for everyone that has supported my YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video.